star. Makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dreams, no except is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees it through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
Good afternoon. My name's Tim Hunter, and as chair of the Erie Community Foundation, it's my honor to welcome you to our annual meeting and presentation of the Edward C. Dahl Community Service Award to Al and Peggy Richardson. But first, before we begin our meeting, I think it's appropriate to just recognize the day. Today, June 6th, the 75-year anniversary of D-Day. And please join me in a moment of silence as we think and remember all of those that sacrificed so much for the freedoms we all enjoy. Thank you. I hope you recognized our theme this year. Dreams do come true. At my age. Dressed as magical characters, Erie Playhouse Youth Theater welcomed you. And you just heard a beautiful rendition of When You Wish Upon a Star by Brittany Morton, who is also the lead singer of the local band, The Groove. So that was a tremendous way to start our event. Thanks both to Brittany and the Erie Playhouse Youth Theater, and another round of applause for them, please. Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. In 1935, founding volunteers of the Erie Community Foundation had a dream: to improve our community by meeting the needs of local nonprofits. Since that time, those dreams evolved into our Helping Today and Shaping Tomorrow grant programs, and a community foundations whose assets remain in the top 10% of peers nationwide. More recently, thanks to the unprecedented support of the Susan Hurd Hagen Fund for Transformational Philanthropy, your community foundation pursued an even loftier dream starting in 2015. We began working with corporate partners and other strong local anchor institution champions to support transformational projects that address critical community needs at scale. Throughout today's meeting, you will learn how the Community Foundation is working with donors, professional advisors, nonprofit executives, and civic leadership to make dreams come true. Handling all this work takes a talented staff and dedicated volunteers. I'd especially like to take a moment to thank and recognize our Board of Trustees. Our trustees serve 3-year terms, renewable up to 9 years. They're very committed, they're a great group, and they take their responsibilities very seriously. In 2018, trustees Clee Austin and Marianne Yoakum Flaherty completed their terms of service. Please join me in a round of applause to thank Clee and Marianne for their tremendous community service and time at the foundation. In 2019, new to our Board of Trustees is Marcus Atkinson. Marcus joins us with extensive experience as the Executive Director of Serve Erie, pastor of community engagement at Grace Church, and host of TV, radio, and podcast programs on WQLN. Please join me in welcoming Marcus to our board. It's been a great addition. Our bylaws give various civic and professional organizations the ability to assist with our trustee selection process, and this public oversight is your guarantee that there will always be good civic leadership watching over the Erie Community Foundation. I'm honored to serve as the chair of the Board of Trustees, and please join me in a round of applause for the trustees and all of their hard work too. Thank you. While we know many challenges remain, our community is proving if you can dream it, you can do it. With your help, we really can make dreams come true. And please join me in welcoming Mike Batchelor to the podium, our president, to further review 2018. Mike?
Well, that was nerve-wracking. My staff said it would go over well, and I wasn't sure about it, but what the heck. Thanks, Tim, and thanks to all of you who came on this beautiful day to join the Community Foundation. It's so great to see so many people that care about Erie, and we're happy to have you here. In The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland said, "The dreams that you dare to dream really do come true." When you registered for today's annual meeting, we asked, what are your dreams for Erie? The response was very incredible. You dream of strong schools, food and shelter for the less fortunate, quality education for all, good paying jobs, safe neighborhoods, a vibrant downtown, and a community where all can thrive. Working with donors, professional advisors, and nonprofits, this is what we do at the Erie Community Foundation. We work to make your dreams and the dreams of those less fortunate come true. We are delighted to report a historic level of donor support and grant making in 2018. We received over 21,000 gifts totaling over $25 million. Thank you. And while all these gifts are very important, the grants we award are what really makes Erie a better place. Happily, there's some very good news there as well. In 2018, your Community Foundation made over 2,400 grants totaling nearly $21 million. All in accordance with the dreams of our donors. And happily, our future looks bright, thanks to 31 new charitable endowments established during the past year. A tough investment market, mostly in the month of December, yielded a negative return of -6%, lowering our year-end market value to $248 million. However, I'm happy to report a very strong 2019 investment rebound, and that our most recent market value stands at a record $274.9 million, an increase of $92 million in the past decade. Last fall, your Community Foundation announced an ambitious 5-year, $30 million plan to dramatically increase the resources needed to make even more dreams come true. There are 3 components to this plan. First, to ensure we always remain a source of hope and support to a broad range of local nonprofits, your Community Foundation doubled our Helping Today grants budget from $500,000 a year last year to $1 million in 2019 and beyond. Now, the and beyond piece is the most important, as we also built an endowment to sustain that level of grant making in perpetuity. So phase 1, double our Helping Today grants. Here's a video to tell you more about some of our Helping Today grants. Hope you enjoy it.
Because You Care is on many levels making dreams come true. First, the dogs and the cats. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of dogs and cats that we've saved. And without Because You Care, they would not be alive, plain and simple. A grant from the Erie Community Foundation is just a phenomenal gift. We often have animals that are in need of surgeries. Many of them are very unhealthy when they arrive from neglect or abuse situations. When we see an adoption happen and we see a family come in and the children and even the grown-ups in the family, they're so excited. They're adding a family member. To a lot of them, this is a dream. There's no other way to say it, but it truly is magical. Without donations and grants like from the Erie Community Foundation, these things wouldn't be possible. This is Deuce and this is Tucker, and dreams do come true at Because You Care.
Well, I came on as a CEO in the last 2 years. When I came on, one of the things that was required is that GCAC was out of compliance with the strategic planning process. We applied for the Erie Community Foundation grant, and we were lucky enough to receive that, which allowed us to really do an in-depth strategic planning for our organization with technology, new strategies, best practices, that without that strategic planning and support for Erie Community Foundation, we probably would still be stuck in the Stone Age.
One of my dreams is playing for the Olympics.
The grant made our dreams come true because when kids go to a field, we need them to be safe, and putting up a new fence keeps them safe, keeps them playing, keeps them on the field, learning skills that they can take into the real world, like teamwork, working together, having them gain confidence. And for one particular player I'm thinking of, she's been in our program since she was 6 years old.
I really do want to play when I get into college, and I think playing on the fields helps me learn how to play before I grow up.
Keeping those fields playable really helps us in keeping those kids interested and really wanting to gain the knowledge about the game. At Northwestern Little League, dreams do come true.
We've been working with the same equipment at the eye clinic at Community Health Net since 1987. We have this combined grant from the Erie Community Foundation and the Kern Family Foundation to digitize our examination at Community Health Net so that the patients who receive care there, the patients from the lowest economic group in the county, are now getting the same care as they would anywhere else at a private office. Digital eye equipment is making my dream come true.
Careers are what's going to be the gateway to success and abundance in our area, and Career Street's bringing those dreams to the students.
Career Street has helped me decide on a career path after high school, what I want to do, and it helped me decide what college I actually wanted to go to.
My dreams do come true from Career Cafe because it opens my eyes to different careers in the future.
It's hard for young individuals, as they're trying to make decisions about what their future is going to be, to make those decisions without enough information. So that's where Career Street and all the various employers come into play. We're showing them what's out there, but more importantly, we're showing them what's available right here in Erie.
My dream for Erie is that the collective perception is a community of beauty and opportunity, and the reality is families can thrive in abundance, success, and health.
Thank you. All of those Helping Today grants are made possible by donors who create unrestricted endowment funds at the Community Foundation. They're awarded on a competitive basis, and we make something like 70 to 100 of those grants, 70 to 100 grants every year. In 2004, we began to encourage multi-year collaborative projects to address systemic issues in our community. We call this program Shaping Tomorrow. The second component of our 5-year, $30 million plan expands this work. As Tim mentioned, we're collaborating with strong community partners to develop a few key projects with the ability to literally transform the trajectory of our community. Look for a report on this transformational philanthropy project in the coming months. For now, here's a video describing how our Shaping Tomorrow program made dreams come true in 2018.
Mother Teresa Academy is a great school. I love going there. We learn so many important things.
They have all the right tools to help me become a future leader of tomorrow, and they also have the right tools to help me go to a good high school and then to a good college and a good career.
The teachers want us to be successful students. They also teach us to be courageous. By going to Mother Teresa Academy, my dreams will become true by becoming a lawyer.
To be a marine biologist, which will make my dreams come true.
When I first came to Strong Vincent, I was really nervous and shy. I don't know how I'm going to keep up my grades. And then I signed up for Go College, and it really helped me, and my grades stay A's and B's now.
It's really about teaching the students at these schools about college access, how to get into college, what they need to do to prepare academically and socially. When they do go to college, they can be successful.
The outcomes have been monumental. We have seen a dramatic increase in the amount of students that are going to college. I think the biggest outcome that we've had is belief. Belief in the students, not only from us as counselors, but the students believe in themselves.
This has made all the difference to the students who have been in the program. The program has allowed those students to start to dream bigger.
I want to go to college, and Go College helps me keep up my grades. And that's what people are going to look at. So that's my dream, to go to college and be something.
What we have seen in Go College is a belief in the students from the counselor's perspective, and a belief in the student from themselves as well. The program has given students hope for the future.
Go College will make my dream come true.
So this funding from the Erie Community Foundation is allowing us to continue and to expand our mission of CORE, surround youth in our community with adults that care about them, that actively invest in building protective factors and shielding them from risk factors to allow them to grow up to be caring, responsible, productive adults and to reach their dreams.
The grant from the Erie Community Foundation is growing our capacity so we can train more and more mentors. They can actually work effectively with youth. We then can help them make their dreams come true.
This is such an exciting time in Erie. There's so much movement and change, and people are ready to be really looking for how we can work together, collaborate, and make lasting impact.
Community that meet these individuals where they're at to help knock down barriers so that they can reach whatever dream it is that they are striving for.
Dreams do come true through grants from the Erie Community Foundation.
At CORE, dreams do come true.
By working collaboratively in the Erie community, dreams really do come true.
I lived in California for 51 years and moved here in 2006. I didn't see the smaller kind of mom and pop markets that I was accustomed to out in Northern California. The Oasis Market is a gift. It's perfect for us seniors. We can all make 2 blocks to get there and get the fresh things that we want and we really appreciate. We don't need to take a bus, we don't need to get a ride from someone. So being able to walk over, even those that come by walker or by wheelchair, they can go 2 blocks. The Oasis Market makes dreams come true.
We believe in assisting people to be more self-sufficient. It's been a privilege for us to be able to be available for people who are new to our country.
We moved to America when I was 10 years old, 10 or 11, between those two. So we've been here for almost 12 years.
We came here, a family of 7, and Erie has been home since 2007, and I love it.
People will come here with all kinds of hopes and aspirations and dreams, and to give them the tools and the resources in order to make those dreams become reality.
I just got my citizenship not too long ago. I can finally get my passport and be able to maybe visit back home and come back, because America is my new home.
The first person to graduate from high school in my family. I was able to continue on and go to school.
Currently, the Erie Community Foundation has given us another seed to plant, which we were able to purchase almost 20 acres of land that we're going to turn into a vibrant, thriving opportunity zone, providing job training and business opportunities, and bringing wellness and health and food and energy to the neighborhood in which we serve.
Dreams really do come true.
My dream did come true.
At the UECDC, dreams do come true.
I see our West Bayfront as a catalyst for the types of change that Erie needs. There are a lot of people individually doing positive things, but working collectively together as our West Bayfront, those efforts are magnified.
I see hope in the fact that the mayor seems to be progressive, and he wants to improve the downtown area, which is a really, really good thing.
Our West Bayfront serves as a conductor of sorts, coordinating efforts and talents to rebuild the West Bayfront area.
They came in and they got people with the knowledge. They found somebody with the money, and they put together this plan to revitalize the neighborhood, which they've been doing a great job of. Revitalizing the Bayview Park will make dreams come true.
My dream for the future is to leave my community a little bit of a better place for the next generations.
Thank you. The third component to our 5-year plan is brand new. For the first time ever, your community foundation agreed to use a portion of our investment portfolio locally, right here in Erie, to assist local projects. This mission-related investment strategy is already yielding results. First, we are a lead investor in the Erie Downtown Development Corporation. We remain encouraged by their efforts to transform our downtown and know this work will yield wider benefits throughout our region. Second, our Board of Trustees recently approved a $500,000 loan that was the final piece needed for a $12 million project allowing Hands to acquire and renovate the Boston store. This work will continue and accelerate over the next 5 years. You can learn more about how we make dreams come true in our annual report. Each of you will receive a copy when you leave the convention center. Next, I'd like to introduce one of our Board of Trustees, Deborah Murphy, who will present the Edward C. Dahl Community Service Award to Al and Peggy Richardson. Deb.
Thank you, Mike. For me, it is a very special honor to be able to introduce to you two people that I've known for a long time and that I think truly represent what the Edward C. Dahl Award is all about. Al and Peggy Richardson have made the dream of higher education come true for countless students in our community. Through the foundation, they designed the Frederick Douglass Scholarship Program for African American students from the Erie Public Schools. Over the past 20 years, the Richardsons have provided 259 scholarships totaling over $500,000. And as I go in to tell you a little bit more about each of them, I would like to take just a minute on this day to appropriately honor Al, who is a U.S. Navy World War II veteran. Al was a graduate of Princeton University and was patent counsel for GE Transportation. Peggy taught in the Mill Creek School District, and Al and Peggy married in 1989. They are a blended family comprised of Al's son, 3 daughters, and 2 adult grandchildren, and Peggy's 2 children, 5 granddaughters, and 6 great-grandchildren. While she has been involved in many organizations, Peggy has a distinguished history of contributions to the Erie Philharmonic, where actually is where I first met her. In 2009, the Phil honored her for 30 years of outstanding service. She also chaired Edinburgh University's Friends of Music and the Asbury Woods Partnership Board. She served on the Erie County Regional Assets Committee and the Advisory Committee for the Foundation's Schuster Fund Endowment. In 2007, Peggy was honored by the Mercy Center for Women as one of its women making history, and she truly has. Al holds leadership roles in many local organizations, including the Erie Regional Peace and Justice Center, Citizens Against Racism in Erie, Erie Peace Initiative, Citizens Interfaith Council for Democracy, Public Access TV, and Lake Erie Group of the Sierra Club. And those are just a few of the things they've done in their careers. Al and Peggy have been honored with the Partnership for the Erie Public Schools Star Award, United Way of Erie County's de Tocqueville Award, AKA Sorority's Lifetime Achievement Award, Dr. King's Outstanding Community Service Award, Erie Arts and Culture Applause Award, the Benedictine Sisters of Erie's Prophet of Peace Award, and Erie Branch NEACP's Lifetime Achievement Award. Tonight, we celebrate Al and Peggy's philanthropy and personal volunteerism with the Edward C. Dahl Community Service Award. Ed Dahl served as the volunteer leader of the Erie Community Foundation for decades. His son, Henry, created the prestigious Dahl Award and Endowment Fund in his father's honor. And right now, I'd like you to see a 5-minute video explaining best how Al and Peggy truly have made dreams come true.
My dream is to become a registered nurse.
My dream is to pursue my career in being a PA.
My dream is to be an occupational therapist.
Al and Peggy have been very good to the minority students in the Erie Public Schools. He gives away so hard-heartedly, both of them, to all the students, and they just love it.
My dream is to become a video game designer or animator.
My dream is to work in the United Nations.
My dream is just like, I want to study to become a nurse.
My dream is to become a police officer and work for immigration.
Some of the students came from Africa, and they tell their story about being in the camps.
I was born in Zambia. I lived in a refugee camp for like almost 14 years. On my family, I'm the first one to go to college here.
These students are students who don't know how they're going to be able to afford college. And with Frederick Douglass Scholarship there, that's when they get that break.
The Frederick Douglass Scholarship is going to give me a really good opportunity to attend college, and it took a lot of weight off my shoulders.
Being able to receive this award, I'm able to pursue a career in nursing, and it also makes it a little easier to pay with loans.
He helped a lot of students out because a lot of us can't afford college on our own, and our parents can't afford it either.
Frederick Douglass was an emancipated slave who went on to get educated and to actually start his own newspaper that was promoting anti-slavery sentiment throughout the South during his time. So I think Al looked upon that as a person who was a self-made individual who went on to educate himself and become productive in society. Al is one of those people to me that recognizes that he had a certain amount of privilege just because of where he was, who he was born to, and that he wants to help other people that don't have that advantage to still have an opportunity to achieve.
It was an honor to meet the Richardsons. I was able to talk to him about my future.
When I met Mr. Richardson, he was very nice. I was a little afraid and nervous, but he understands what I wanted to do.
We talked about the future and my plans after high school.
Over the past 20 years, the Richardsons provided 259 scholarships, totaling over $500,000, which is really pretty impressive.
I've been impressed by an individual who's willing to take money out of their own pocket or savings. How many people would take 30 grand out of their pocket and put it out for a scholarship for kids that don't look like them?
I think Al and Peggy really epitomize what the Edward C. Dahl Service Award is. I mean, they are two people who give so much of their time and are so committed to the things that they have an interest in, and have been so generous to this community in all the things they do, whether it's with their time or with their money.
You can't learn about the history of the Erie Phil without coming across the names Al and Peggy Richardson. You see Peggy and Al's names start to pop up over so many things throughout the course of our history. So much of the things that we do around education wouldn't exist without what Peggy had created years ago. You couple that volunteer work along with their monetary support of helping to make these activities grow, and you have that perfect combination between a husband and a wife couple that have left an indelible legacy on an orchestra.
Two people who didn't grow up in Erie. It's pretty amazing to me that they chose to stay here and build their life here and do everything they could to make this a better community for all of us.
He's still at the scholarship committee meetings, he's still making the decisions on it, he's still giving the resources out. When at his point in time in life, he could easily say, I've done enough, I've contributed, and I'm just going to take care of me and my wife from here on out. He hasn't done that.
As a community foundation trustee, what I find wonderful is the scholarship fund that Al and Peggy started here. The scholarship that Doug and I started a few years ago was inspired by what Al and Peggy were doing.
Al and Peggy are one of those very rare couples who, no matter how hard you try to do it, it's impossible to say one of their names without saying the other. Al and Peggy have probably improved every corner of need that exists within the greater Erie area, whether it's social reform, the environment, education, and the arts. They've all benefited from Al and Peggy's roll up your sleeve, good work, and Al and Peggy's kindness.
Thank you for my scholarship and making my dreams come true.
I think now you all understand why we're honoring Al and Peggy today with this award, and being able to honor them is a dream come true. My dream come true would be to grow up to be just like them. Al, could you join me at the podium?
I'm humbled and truly honored for being selected for this Doll Community Service Award. I know there are many others before us who are more worthy, and I'm sure some of you in this room deserve the honor in future years. Both Peggy and I appreciate this award very much. 3 of my 4 children were able to get here. Do they want to stand? My son Al and 2 of my daughters, Lisa and Ann. I decided not to bring Peggy with me. Many of you know that she was afflicted with dementia a few years ago. Now she's also wheelchair bound and being cared for by aides at the Sarah Reed Skilled Nursing Care. But on my daily visits, Peggy still recognizes me, almost always with a smile, and she never complains when I leave. She still loves music, and in November we'll have our 30th wedding anniversary. I want to briefly acknowledge the GE Foundation for its past generosity. For decades, many Erie nonprofits receiving our contributions also got matches, 1-to-1, from the GE Foundation. Unfortunately, its guidelines were substantially reduced in recent years, and now that's available only for 10% of what it used to be. Living in Erie for over 44 years, I've had the good fortune of developing a variety of good relationships, including with some past Dahl honorees. And I'd like to share very briefly some personal stories about prior Dahl honorees. I think the last one was Tom Hagen. Tom has responded very affirmatively to my request to give generously to the Sierra Club's new accessible trails in the city of McClellan Park. And I just learned that literally this morning that the Pennsylvania Parks and Recreation has published recently a case for local parks and recreation in Pennsylvania, which includes on 2 pages a story about McClellan Park, which incidentally includes a photograph of my pushing Peggy in a wheelchair, which is the same photo you saw at the end of the video. So that's in a statewide document now, the case for local urban parks. Joan Chittister, who's here today and has received this award recently, I can still remember when she gave her acceptance speech using this phrase, which I will never forget. Giving frees you from the scourge of greed. How true. Susan Hagen is an old friend and always responded affirmatively to my requests for helping contribute to Citizens Against Racism in Erie. Then there was Don Leslie. He and I may be the only 2 Princeton graduates that have gotten this award. And I did forego my 70th reunion last weekend because of this event today. Many years ago, I filled sacks with pachysandra plants from Don's yard, and the descendants of those plants are still thriving on West 9th Street where they were transplanted. Then there was Dale Carl. He was my broker who would make transfers of appreciated stock at no cost to me. And then there was my good friend Laura Wallerstein. Laura was the very first person to get one of these Dahl awards. As you now know, Peggy and I have been contributing to the Frederick Douglass Scholarship Fund annually. The fund's available for donations from others. And in fact, in recent years, its only other funding source has been from the Laura and Leon Wallerstein Charitable Endowment Fund. So please use that example and help us fund the Frederick Douglass Scholarship. I want to thank the students that we gave scholarships to this year. They were on that last video. And I'd like to thank the Community Foundation administration for helping with administering our scholarship. And I think that's all I was going to say.
I'm just sorry Peggy couldn't be here. But she's in our hearts. Oh, I know. I will say something you can say here at home. Okay. As many of you know, part of receiving the Edward C. Dahl Award is the the recipients have the ability to donate this year $12,000 to the charity of their choice. And I'd like Al to say where that's going.
Okay, well, decided this year that we'll put $9,000 of that award into the Frederick Douglass Scholarship Fund. That will help with 3 scholarships in future years. And the other $3,000 we are going to be donating to the Benedictine Sisters of Erie for their Heritage That Empowers capital campaign.
Congratulations to Al and Peggy. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susanna Weiss-Fregon, and I'm the Vice President of Philanthropic Services at the Community Foundation, which I guess you could tell by the signs next to me. Walt Disney said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." Every day at your Community Foundation, we help donors pursue their dreams of philanthropy. We help donors decide what causes they would like to support in perpetuity. Based on a donor's dream, we help local nonprofits make our communities stronger, safer, and more vibrant. You too can make dreams come true through your Community Foundation. You may be familiar with the Erie Women's Fund, Friends of the Foundation, the Elijah Mack Bequest Society, and Erie Gives. All of these provide pathways for making dreams come true. We'd now like to show you a brief video to demonstrate how.
The Erie Women's Fund has grown to over 150 members, which has allowed us to contribute over $500,000 in grants to the community to support women and families to reach self-sufficiency. Women individually have power, and collectively we can make an impact. So if you're somebody who wants to make an impact on the Erie community, specifically with women and families, please join us through the Erie Women's Fund in our movement.
The Erie Community Foundation is investing in the future through the Friends Group. It's a lot of the younger generation of Erie, a lot of people in their 20s, their 30s, as we get into our 40s. It's a pretty cool concept. It helps us get engaged into community involvement, community issues. We kind of help transform Erie into a better city than it already is.
I'm a member of the Mack Society because as a lifelong resident of Erie, I've seen many examples of the good work enabled by the grants from the foundation. I made the decision to use my retirement funds to support a number of local nonprofit organizations. I've created a named family fund as well as naming the Erie Community Foundation as a significant beneficiary of my IRA account.
Erie Gives is another great way to give to your favorite nonprofits through the Erie Community Foundation. And this year, Erie Gives will be twice as nice. On Monday, we'll be accepting checks, and on Tuesday, it will be the online day of giving. Last year, we broke all records, raising over $4.4 million for local nonprofits. So it's up to the Erie community to make this year even bigger and better.
Through the Erie Women's Fund, dreams do come true.
By being a member of Friends, dreams do come true.
Through the Mack Society, dreams do come true.
Thank you, Erie Gives.
As I mentioned, those are pathways with which you may be familiar. Recently, we have created another avenue for donors to be involved with causes they care about. We've created the LGBT Community Endowment, whose mission is to provide financial support to organizations that address the LGBTQ community's unique challenges and to create a positive and thriving environment for all. Hopefully by now, that's an applause, Lindsay. Hopefully by now you've seen that philanthropy really does make dreams come true. This is happening not only here in Erie, but also through the work of our affiliate community foundations. Under the Erie Community Foundation umbrella, We have foundations in Corey, Union City, Northeast, and Findlay Lake, New York. All of the all-volunteer boards for each of those foundations focus on improving their communities through their important work. I'd like to ask board members and trustees of the affiliate foundations who are here with us this afternoon to stand to be recognized. Our philanthropic services team at the foundation works with donors, professional advisors, and nonprofit executives to create a variety of different funds. These can be donor advised, designated, agency endowments, and scholarships. I'd now like to ask our president, Mike Batchelor, to come up and tell you about how one particular fund and one particular donor are making dreams come true. Mike?
Thanks, Susanna. Recently, our team had the privilege of helping one very thoughtful and very special donor. She grew up in Mill Creek, but now lives in Boston. She's an accomplished executive with an extensive career ranging from nonprofits to corporate boardrooms. She has a seat at national and international stages. And while she could have gone anywhere or done anything, we're delighted that she wanted to give back to her hometown. A few weeks ago, when she was the commencement speaker at Mercyhurst University, she received an honorary Doctor of Letters degree, the second of her career. Christine Spatafor is a graduate of La Roche University. She earned her graduate degrees from Harvard Law School and Harvard School of Public Health. She was recognized by the American Bar Association as one of the nation's top 20 female business lawyers with expertise to serve on corporate boards. She achieved partner status at 3 international management consulting firms, including the prestigious Boston Consulting Group. In China, she served as consultant to the United Nations. And as I mentioned before, she has led her own management consulting group. There are 5 Erie local nonprofits, as well as 3 other favorite organizations that will receive endowed gifts through Christine's estate. And this will make many, many dreams come true in perpetuity. I think you're going to enjoy this story.
Wow. Thank you so much.
It is my great pleasure. Thank you for what you do.
Can I hug you?
Yes. Yeah, you can hug me. For my estate planning, I chose to partner with the Erie Community Foundation, first because of their reputation, also because of their commitment to the community, and in addition because they share the same values as my parents did and the same values as I do in terms of making sure that the vulnerable and at-risk populations and persons who are considered sometimes to be invisible are actually seen. My parents, Mary and Arthur Spatafor, were exceptional people. I desire to have their legacies live on because their spirits live on. So there is a scholarship for my father in his name for future electricians or electrical engineers.
Really will make these kids' dreams come true because she's given us the opportunity to recognize students in 2 different ways if they want to pursue higher education or through going directly to the workforce.
To get an advantage through a scholarship to better prepare me for my career outside of high school, it's a great opportunity.
I want to become an electrician and maybe own my own company. My great-grandpa actually inspired me to go into this field because he used to be an electrician.
There is a scholarship in my mother's name for voice performance in perpetuity, as well as an endowed chair of music that's been established at Mercyhurst University in her name.
I am pleased to announce that the inaugural scholarship recipient is junior Lydia Boylan of Arano, Maine. Lydia, please stand and take a bow.
Knowing the message behind the scholarship itself, that I'm going to carry on a legacy, someone who was a beautiful person, a beautiful soul.
At the Inner City Neighborhood Art House, as well as in other charities where we have endowed gifts, One of the areas of focus is that I provided funds for staff salaries. These nonprofits work so hard, so I'm very focused on making sure that they have the best and the brightest staff to take care of these vulnerable and at-risk populations.
Oh, you don't know how much this will help. The Neighborhood Art House is going to be able to offer music and art for thousands of children for ages to come, because this gift is given as an endowment.
When I saw the tribute that the children had made to my mother, I could feel her in the room. And she's in heaven smiling down, because she knows that in perpetuity there will be youth art programs and youth music programs here, always taking place in Miss Mary's studio.
When we received word that it was a memorial, right away I thought about a mosaic. Miss Mary's studio will be a part of the art house where children can look and see what it means for someone to give their life for themselves, but for others.
When I visited Booker T. Washington and met with Chantel, it was actually quite overwhelming. He is an innovative visionary leader, and he works with vulnerable and at-risk populations. He works with populations that many people don't see.
We've been doing a yeoman's work in this community since 1923, and we don't foresee us slowing down at any point in time. We continue to be visionaries and continue to look at ways to create opportunities for the underserved population, and we're excited to do that.
You're filling a critical need in the community.
It's not just me, it's the staff that I have.
Right.
Without a determined and dedicated staff, I wouldn't be able to do any of this.
It was inspirational to spend time with James. Not only is he passionate about his work and he's so talented, he could be working anywhere. From my experience for decades working with nonprofits, the things that make this work are the people. So this is money for staff salaries, so you can hire the best and the brightest. He well understands how to use funds for his organization in a way that is sustainable so that the organization will go on in perpetuity. I chose to partner with the Erie Community Foundation. They care about the people of this community, and I have great confidence that during my lifetime and after I pass, when they administer my estate, that the legacy of my parents will continue to live on.
Please join me in welcoming and expressing thanks to Dr. Christine Spadafore.
Thank you. The best part of this is everywhere I go now I get big hugs. So this is great. I'm so grateful to the Community Foundation for the warm welcome home. I always love being in my hometown, and I'm so proud to be a hometown girl. Dreams do come true, indeed. My parents, Arthur and Mary Spadafore, you saw them in their honeymoon photo. Now, I know I'm biased, but I think they looked like movie stars. They were so gorgeous. They lived lives devoted to making my dreams come true and making my brother's dreams come true. And they succeeded beyond measure. At the same time, they lived lives of service to others, including persons they never met. Both were tireless community volunteers for decades. Here are just a few of the many things they did. They volunteered at our church for decades. My father, a World War II veteran and child of the Depression, had numerous engineering talents and was also a master electrician. He provided free electrician services to the poor and the elderly, and was a patient mentor to many apprentices who learned at his side and also became master electricians. My mother was a volunteer at St. Vincent Hospital for 25 years, and she made the first Christmas tree that has now grown into the annual Festival of Trees held in this room every year. Yes, yes, Mom. As one of the smart and talented children at the neighborhood art house said to me, "Your mother planted a tree and she grew a forest." Such poetry from a child. But one of my most vivid memories of their kindness and selflessness to others is from the Christmas holidays. And I'd like to tell you a little story. Years ago, when I was in elementary school, the Erie Times News at that time published names and addresses of families in need at the holidays. I remember my parents reading the list and talking about how they might help. My father then took an envelope out of his pocket, placed it on the kitchen table, and removed cash. In his precise engineering way, he began counting the bills into piles, and they extended from one end of the kitchen table to the other. At the same time, my mother was busy writing the names and addresses of families on the envelopes, one envelope for each pile. My job, as an energetic 7-year-old who insisted on being part of everything, was to put the cash in the envelopes and seal them. When we were finished, my father put all the envelopes in a folder and asked me if I wanted to go for a ride. Always up for a diversion from homework, it seemed like my mother could not put on my red leggings and snow jacket fast enough. And then we were off. One by one, we pulled up in front of each home. My father would knock on the front door, and the mom or dad would answer it. He handed them an envelope, wished them Merry Christmas, returned to the car, ready to make the next delivery. What I remember most is what happened at one home. My dad did his usual delivery, but instead of the envelope being accepted and the front door closing, a dad and a mom with an infant in her arms and 2 little toddlers ran down the snowy sidewalk, waving and shouting thank you as we pulled away. My parents' names were not on any of those envelopes. No one ever knew who they were. To have parents like this is truly a dream come true. Because of their fierce love and devotion to my brother and me, and because but for them and their sacrifices, they made my dreams come true. It is only fitting then that their legacies of kindness, service, and generosity live on. To be honest, they would be terribly embarrassed by all of this. They were very humble and quiet philanthropists. I can hear them saying, "You're making too big a deal out of this, Christine." And I wouldn't care, actually. They felt it a privileged duty and obligation to give back. I want people to know who they were and to recognize the many gifts they bestowed on this community. How best to do this? Through partnership with the Erie Community Foundation. I live in Boston, as Mike said, but I wanted my estate to come back home, to come to Erie, where my parents moved as newlyweds, where my brother and I were raised. My parents planted roots here, and my roots will forever be here. Some time ago, dare I say some years ago, I first met Mike Batchelor. And I'm guessing that his dream has now come true now that most of my estate planning is complete, but not yet. This was so long ago, Mike didn't have gray hair yet. So we've been talking about this a long time. He said, the foundation assists with personal philanthropic objectives and meets donors on their own timetables. Don't we know that's true? I'm a walking testament to that, and I'm grateful for his guidance and advice and patience. With his deep knowledge of Erie nonprofits, he's been an exceptionally wise advisor as I shared the types of organizations in which I wanted to make investments, not gifts, not solely gifts, but investments in perpetuity, because I so believe in these organizations and their leadership. He and Susanna and Aaron connected me with charities who work at the intersection of causes I care about and populations I care about. The causes I care about: libraries, free press journalism, education, and community programs. The populations I care about: talented and deserving students, journalists, and the invisibles. Who are they? Disadvantaged children and elderly, the poor, the vulnerable and those at risk, and those who have had their voices taken from them. You don't talk about what you can't see. And I believe these populations are not seen enough. By these planned gifts administered through the Erie Community Foundation, I want the invisibles to be seen, to be talked about, and to be given the respect and dignity they deserve. And I want others to advocate for them as my parents did. To be honest, it would have been much more convenient for my estate planning to be managed by the local community foundation where I live. But the long-standing reputation of both the Erie Community Foundation and its staff gives me unwavering confidence that when the time comes, through my estate, the foundation will be at the forefront of making even more dreams come true for many generations to come. Thank you for the warm welcome home.
Christine, it's been an honor. Thank you so much on behalf of a very grateful community. I know you're never going to forget Erie, but we do have some gifts for her just in case. Take some back to Boston.
I love Erie swag.
We'll leave them here for you.
I'll put them up in my Boston office.
And then the other interesting thing, it's nice this is a Disney-themed event because I learned this morning that Christine worked for Disney. How about that? So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, in closing, the individuals and businesses you see on this screen have given their time and talent to make tonight possible. Please give me a round of applause to thank them. I'd also like to thank and recognize our Board of Trustees and a terrific staff. Everything we do at ECF is a real team effort, and I'm grateful for all the creativity, dedication, and support. So thank you all very much. Finally, and as always, I want to thank my wife, Tammy. I couldn't do this without her, and you all like her more than me. I know that. Okay, one final Disney quote. Disney said, "First think, second dream, third believe, and finally dare." I hope today has made you think and dream. I hope today makes you believe in Erie. And finally, like Walt Disney said, I dare each of you to join us to join Christine Spatafor, to join the over 800 donors, past and present, who have created endowment funds within the Erie Community Foundation, to join the thousands that participate in Erie Gives, and perhaps most importantly, to join all who today, right now, understand this is a unique moment of time in our history, and we are working together to transform our community like never before. With your help, we will make dreams come true. Finally, please also join us for a celebration. To my left, overlooking our beautiful bayfront, this meeting is adjourned.